There we go. Sorry, I had the sound turned off there. For some reason, it just won't pick up my Yeti microphone when I turn on OBS. But I haven't updated OBS for quite some time because I'm always paranoid that they're going to ruin it. Let's see, what's our speed here? 28k kilobytes per second. Yeah, it's good. A bit worried about the internet connection at the moment because of all of the stuff. I am watching the Discord comments, by the way. So if anybody's currently on Discord and is watching the live stream, I can actually see your comments there. So Jabba, if anybody wants to catch him up. Hello, everybody. Just going to pop out the chat here. Now, this is an important live stream because I'm going to be talking about changes to the channel and what I'm doing, and I'm going to be very, very clear, open, and honest with you about what I'm doing, what I mean when I'm making these surveys and polls and stuff, and how I'm taking in the feedback and everything that everybody's giving me. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. I assume so. Riffs talk, we probably can lower at the end of this. No problem. Someone's looking ready for the gym. It's just really hot here today. I had a really good day today. It's been a really rough last few days with the massive cyclone which has gone over New Zealand. Cyclone Gabrielle has done incredible damage to New Zealand. If anybody looks at go to One News, New Zealand news broadcast, and you'll probably see on the internet some of the reports and stuff. Like there's whole towns which are gone, and it's just miraculous where I live just happened to be saved from any sort of damage, but the entire coastline is just devastated. Yeah, hear me loud and clear. Thank you, Moonthirst. Hey, Shakescan. Hey, Moonring. Hey, Justin. Hey, DB. Hey, Kairos. Sound is buzzing and topping out. It's probably because I had the gain a little bit turned up. Maybe I just step back a little bit. I'm glad you're here too, Dennis. Hey, Simply B. Yeah, gain's a little high. How's that? Bit better? Yeah, I know it's cold there. It's certainly not cold here. I think it's about 22, 23 degrees Celsius here today, which is in a moderate Fahrenheit range. It's not really, really hot. It's just quite humid. It has been a while, Juju Bear. Welcome back. DN stuff is crazy. That's what you normally clicked, but I do want to see new stuff now because, yeah. Better? Thank you. Good. That's great. Oh, yeah. This is actually a really old hat. This hat is older than most of you. I can guarantee you. Oh, is it Idaho where they had the train wreck? Or is that Iowa? I've got the two mixed up. Anybody who's anywhere near there, I'm very, very sorry for what has happened, and I'm absolutely just aghast at the authorities' behavior. Am I still bitter about Hasbro? I've been bitter about Hasbro for 2 years, man. If you check my my Twitter feed, I actually pointed out, I linked a live stream that I did 2 years ago where I was essentially talking about Chris Gow. I knew he was there. I just didn't know who he was, but I knew there was a piece of shit human being in the middle of Wizards of the Coast, and they were poisoning the entire work environment. I could just smell it on the wind. It's Ohio. 15 minutes from you, Michael? Woo. Yeah, so Matt, thank you. Getting me back on topic there. The Dungeon Delves, vids on monsters and stuff. Bring them back. Yeah. Players love your stuff. Hey, thank you, Action Annie. Hey, Theo. Now, yeah, so what I have in store for you. So the surveys that I'm doing are really, I'm narrowing down honestly exactly what my current viewer base is looking for. And it's pretty clear that you still want me to make monster ecology videos. Now, the thing that I need to tell you is that I'm not making Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not making role-playing videos anymore. let that sink in for a second. So I'm not making specific videos about flame skulls and zombies and, cultists of Thay and stuff like that. I've done those videos for the last few years. I've done more of that content than possibly everybody else alive, with the exception of Mr. Rex, maybe. He's made a lot of videos. Mr. Rex is dominating that market. He's got a big market share. But one thing about Mr. Rex's channel is that he started off with a lot of subscribers from video game stuff, Skyrim and that sort of thing. He makes really good video game stuff. I'm not a video gamer because I spend all my time writing and researching and playing D&D, and stuff like that. Also, unlike some of the other channels and things, I've been around for 50 years. I just turned 50 few days ago, and I've been role-playing my entire life, and my perspective is old school but also new school, because I go out of my way to introduce people to the hobby, and I played mostly face-to-face games and things like that, whereas a lot of people who are in the hobby now are not used to that whole face-to-face thing. So as somebody pointed out in their feedback in my comments, in my polls, is that while I could do crafting videos, hardly anybody is going to use miniatures and stuff these days, or if they are, they're just going to print them on a 3D printer. The art of sculpting miniatures and things like that is as dead as a dodo, because AI has essentially taken it over. AI being, ZBrush and a 3D printer. So people could learn that, but as a hobby, it's not really going to grow my channel doing that. And growth of my channel is what I've been watching stagnate recently. Even before the whole Hasbro thing, D&D has just been tapering off as content for me. I don't know whether people have gotten sick of my content or whatever, but I've definitely seen that trend. So I have been sort of around the edges of it. Then the whole OGL Wizards of the Coast thing happened, and I was already sort of headed out the door and going away from D&D content and planning on what I was going to do going forward, because it's time for me to actually write for myself, not just report on other people's creativity. I'm a person with writing skills now, good skills, and so I can write unique and new stuff. The fact that I've been using AI to do that, using ChatGPT, is not a fallback on using ChatGPT as a cop-out while I'm writing my RPG books. That's not what I'm doing. I'm learning how to use ChatGPT before anybody else does, because everybody else will be doing it. In fact, a lot of YouTubers are doing it subtly. Like if you go and look at Grim Jim, he's got an AI voice which is asking him interview questions, and then he's just talking into his camera. There's no actual person there doing it. He's just using AI to do a format which would otherwise involve him getting somebody else in to ask him questions and stuff. Now, Grim has got health problems like I do. I've got a lot of health problems. You can't see them because they're invisible. In fact, they make me look better than I should do. But I have severe problems with doing voice dialogue and things like that. The last video that I did with the introduction to the Aliens Extraterrestrial series, that took me about 6 or 7 hours to do that little 4-minute or less bit of dialogue, because I was in agony and vomiting and stuff all day. This is not something that I want to share with you. I have to share this with you because I need you to understand what's going on. So I'm not using ChatGPT and an AI voice as a cop-out. I'm using it as a wheelchair, as a crutch, as a medical aid, so I can carry on doing my work regardless of whether my physical health is deteriorating or not. So it's important to me that I get this right, and that I do it so that I'm not alienating you, ironically, alienating you in the process. Now, I have put together a video, a remake of the Flame Skull video that I did. But this time I'm using the new sort of style that I did, and a lot of, I sort of used ChatGPT to give me the bones of the script, but the rest of it is filled in and edited and written by me. So basically, ChatGPT spits out some fairly, it's okay because it's based on my style, but I never liked the ending and stuff like that, because so many people use ChatGPT to do like university essays or school reports and stuff like that, that they always kind of end like in conclusion, blah, 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 last summer I did, blah. It's not the same style, right? So I'm trying to get GPT out of that process, but it's hard to instruct it. Oh, thank you, Moonhurst. No more D&D videos? No. I'm not saying no more D&D videos. I'm just saying the monster videos and the creature videos and yokai videos and stuff like that will not be restricted to role-playing games, and I'm not going to talk about game mechanics or DM's advice or any of that sort of stuff. essentially I'm stepping back from the role-playing market because the role-playing market is limiting me to a very narrow 2,000 viewer focus. It's not 122,000 people watching YouTube videos. It's, if at most, it'd be about 20,000 people or so, which is my actual audience. The rest are just subscribers, and most of those subscribers are not even active on YouTube anymore, or they're not watching my videos. And the majority of Mr. Rex's audience isn't watching his videos either. He's got maybe 100,000 viewers. So what I'm talking about is I'm talking to the 25,000 people who are actively watching my channel, and I'm telling you that I can't make D&D videos because, one, I've been working underneath the fan content policy, which prevents me from putting any sort of paywall or anything like that there. So I can't make exclusive content. I know a lot of other YouTubers do this, but they're putting themselves in severe risk of getting sued and shut down by Hasbro, WotC, or whatever by doing that. Much like back in the day, Pathfinder was quite restrictive on you could not do any sort of monetized broadcast or anything worth playing their game. That was one of their policies they had. They never really enforced it, but on one particular instance, this guy named Dawn Forgecast, they should have. But this is the thing. Hasbro is not a nice corporation, and Wizards of the Coast is not a nice corporation. They're not a nice bunch of people, and they will take revenge on people. I can guarantee it. Hey, thanks, Letter Mace. People underestimate how hard VO is, even normal, looking forward to what you explore next. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the voice work and stuff, the editing is just, it takes a long time, and it's really, really boring listening to yourself for hours at a time. Pay no attention to the DB behind the curtain, listening closely. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Morgan. Are you going to cover Rift's Mecha? Yeah, I'm going to cover all that sort of stuff. So the Rift stuff and things like that will be sort of my own personal interest videos. The AGI's Guide to Extraterrestrials is not a video series. It's me writing a book. I am writing a book. So the amount of content that I'm putting out and just all these alien video things that I'm putting out is not only is that almost daily content for you. So they're only like 4 minutes per pop. So you could like watch half the video there and then watch half the second half when you get home or something like that. Or you can have a string of them. They're designed to just not have the loud sort of intros and stuff, but just run like a podcast that you can keep just put on the whole playlist and they just smoothly slide into the next one. So I know what you're looking for with my content. The ChatGPT thing is a bit rough at the start, but it's quickly smoothing out. And you'll notice if you listen really closely, you'll be able to hear breathing and vocal pauses and stops as I fine tune that vocal thing to get closer and closer to what I sound like. But also people have noted that the sort of artificial voice sound really matches the tone and the theme of what the Alien Guide to Extraterrestrials, the AJ's Guide to Extraterrestrials is, because I'm basing it on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a talking voice which tells you about the stuff. I'm also basing it on the picture book that Paul Atreides uses in Dune to describing the Harkonnens and stuff, or the secret report amongst the guild from the guild. TSR, we miss you. Yeah, Mike. Not really. TSR died exactly the same way that Hasbro's about to. So the Alien Guide to Extraterrestrial videos will improve a lot quicker than my D&D videos. And anybody who's complaining about the how rough those are, just go back and look at my early content, and you'll see that I do generally improve over time. And with AI, I improve very rapidly. I'm used to using computers and machines to do my job. I was working in a genetics lab. It's mostly robots and computers and stuff, so that's normal. Now, Kyle, that's an interesting attitude you got there. Anybody who's complaining can piss off. No, absolutely not. I don't want anybody to just leave thinking that I'm not... Yeah, Babelfish needs a kiwi patch. It absolutely does. It's true. I'm not trying to alienate or anything or get rid of the people who are interested in my D&D content. I'm just trying to get them away from the idea that I am making, I'm their DM, the DM's DM sort of thing. I'm not that great of a DM. I don't like giving game advice. I don't like talking about game mechanics. I don't even like making characters and stuff like that unless I've got an auto character roller. If I have to do it manually, I'm just like, can you do it for me? I'm literally the laziest player ever, and I'm a really lazy DM as well. I homebrew everything. I barely ever use existing monsters and stuff like that when I'm playing my home games and things. It's only recorded games that I stick to, Forgotten Realms and regular sort of monsters and stuff like that, because the audience is just not ready for the sort of crazy antic homebrew worlds that I make and stuff. I have done that sort of stuff in the past. But yeah, so the alien videos are going to be collected into a big collection of PDF files, which are going to be collected and made into a book, which I'm going to be selling. At the so I'm doing this as a commercial thing to earn me money, because D&D is toxic. It's dangerous content to go, and it's highly restrictive. It always has been. I've been operating under the Hasbro, the Wizard of the Coast fan content policy, not the OGL. The fan content policy is much more restrictive than that, and it's really nasty, and I don't want to support it. Oh yeah, I get you, Kyle. As you mentioned last time, there was an old Guide to Extraterrestrials book. It was so good. I had it as a kid. Yeah, Barlow's Guide to Extraterrestrials. I absolutely loved that book. And so this is me making 90% of those aliens are just me completely generating new stuff. So they're complete homebrew. And your feedback has been giving me very good insight onto what you actually want to listen to. And so you want to listen to not just basic sort of generic biological stuff, but you want to get into the xenopology. So it's like anthropology, but xenopology. So you want to get into what's their society like? What's it actually like to meet these things and be next to them and smell and hear and feel and experience their culture and get wet with the the sweat of their dance clubs, and what does their cuisine taste like? You want to be in an alien environment and experience it. I get that. So that's what I'm going to be bringing you. And this is so vitally important that you give me good feedback right now. Even if you really don't like what I'm doing, don't go out with, I don't like this, I like D&D. Go out with, I don't like this because it's blah, it's bland, it's too robotic, it sounds like, it's too short, it's too harsh, it's too repetitive. I want to hear all the complaints. Now's the time to really bitch and moan at me, because I'm listening. I'm listening very closely, like the way that Wizard of the Coast never does. You want to be a xenobiologist in 4th grade? You still should be, Corey. When are we getting a space mead entry? Maybe. So now, on the other flip side of that, the video that I'm going to be presenting with the flame skull, just as like an experiment, is, and it literally is just an experiment, me going, what do you think of this? Is me using ChatGPT and the voice thing and also my own creative writing to present the flame skull video in a quick, like 4 or 5 minute video chunk, which I'll put onto my main channel for free and for everybody to watch. But a more complete and like full 20-minute type flame skull video would be something that would be for Patreon or for channel members and things like that. Because get this through your mind. I do this for a living. I do this to pay my rent and that sort of stuff. So I'm listening to channel members and Patreon members very, very closely. To the subscribers and things like that, I very much value your feedback. Don't get me wrong, and you're not a second-class citizen in regard to that. I mean, the Patreon members get full access to all that sort of stuff for a minimum of $1 per month. They get extra videos, extra content. Like there's a bunch of extraterrestrial videos there, which the main people here have not seen. It's only channel members and Patreon supporters that actually get to see those videos. So there's already exclusive content being piled into Patreon right now, and I'm picking up more and more Patreon supporters. So I see everything going on in the background, and I see a new audience coming in. So I see a drop-off of existing subscribers, but also at the same time an equal uptake of new subscribers, and they're watching all of my back catalog stuff at the same time. So this is actually, you may think it's killing my hobby because you don't like it. Oh, sorry, you think it's killing the channel because it's changing away from what you like, but what it's actually doing is attracting mainstream viewers who are not interested in role-playing books, right? So compare the 3-odd million people who play role-playing games, or specifically Dungeons & Dragons, say, to the 350 million potential audience members that I have making other content. You know how many people are interested in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and brand new alien species and stuff, where they don't have to buy a sci-fi novel and read through all that stuff? They can just get it handed to them every day. A lot more people that are interested in what ogres eat for breakfast, let me tell you. So it's a transition, and it's one that's going to be a little bit painful, and I'm trying to navigate it as best I can, but I wanted to let you know the exact process that I'm going through, and that I am listening to you and trying to keep you on board with this and tell you that I'm just following my passions and my enjoyment. And D&D is not number one in my list of things that I love most in life. I like a lot of different role-playing games, and Palladium is the game that I started DMing first, not D&D. So my first love is not Dungeons and Dragons. It's actually Palladium and sci-fi type games and supers games. So yeah. And it's just really fast. It's much more engaging for me to make new stuff. So instead of like homebrew being a difficult thing, homebrew is now much more easy for me to make than wading through a book where it's literally scarred me, right? Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have wounded me in regards to Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah, I still love the game and I'll play it, at the drop of a hat, and I'll keep on playing 5th edition or whatever for a long time. But the damage has been done, and for a creative person, you can't go into things like that with that sort of pain, because it literally just burns you out. So it's like, okay, if 78% of you want me to do nothing but D&D Monster Ecology videos, I shut down my channel and I go away, because I just can't do it. So, but the thing is like only 1,600 people or something like that have done the surveys and stuff so far, the polls, and I'll leave them to go for a while. Yeah, they did dig their grave, Kyle. It's true. Mr. Gore? Well, so long and thanks for all the fish. Yeah. So the alien ecology videos will continue and at a rapid pace, and I'm also going to be doing an AJ's Guide to Monsters as well. So this one will be more of an SCP stuff, and it will be concentrating solely on the sage's travels from his first-hand perspective. So it's going to be me narrating like I was there and I encountered a flame skull and this is what happened. So it's literally first-hand account, like I'm narrating a story. It's not going to be talking about tactics. It's not going to be talking about the specific spells that it uses. It's not going to be talking about, all those details. I'm going to be leaving a few things blank so that you just generally get the impression as a DM of what this thing is like and how to describe it, the interaction with it and things like that, and then spin it in your own way. I think that sticking to like the stats and stuff like that of a role-playing game is, well, first of all, it really puts a bias on what you're describing. And it also restricts the uses that you would make for it, and also restricts the way that I would talk about that creature. Like, people just are not interested in the statistics of role-playing game stuff, and they don't want to see it in the videos. And the people who are really interested in the DM advice and stuff, you have a ton. You've got 340 videos of DM advice and statistics and stuff like that. If you haven't learned, like, attributes and stuff like that, like the back of your hand, by the time you've ended up watching all of those, I don't know what will. So if you're not willing to put in the time and learn from the stuff that I've provided for you already, why should I continue making that stuff for you when it's really not benefiting me at all? So that's really it. Write that book, yeah. So I've got 3 book projects on the way. I've got the AJ's Guide to Extraterrestrials book, which is going to have hundreds of alien species and really nice artwork in there. So that'll probably be maybe Kickstarter or maybe just funded myself. I don't know. I'm not really happy with Kickstarter or One Bookshelf right now. And I really don't want to support One Bookshelf because I think they're another monopoly which is pretty unhealthy as well. Although they have the Glooniversal Guide to Monsters, Aliens, etc. It'll be AJ's Guide to Monsters, but yeah, that's pretty good. Out of curiosity, how risky are you willing to be when it comes to the lore? Risque as in, hey Esper. Yeah, AJ's Guide to Monsters will be a video series, and unfortunately, because I'm going to be covering creatures like the flame skull and stuff like that, I probably won't be able to publish those, but certainly they're going to be a shitload of homebrewed monsters, and I mean really good homebrewed monsters. And I'm going to be using the same sort of principles and processes that I use with ChatGPT and using the voice thing like that to make those videos really rapidly. So you'll get like a alien ecology video one day, you'll get a monster ecology video the next day, you'll get a magic item video the next day, you'll get a planet location video the next day, you'll have a planetary a guide to extraterrestrial life and stuff like that the next day. So I'm going to be sharing my passions and things, and also writing content that I can actually publish and make money out of. D&D is a dead duck. I can't make money that way unless it's just from your views and your good graces. And you know that I don't put promotional stuff like that in my videos. So what do you want me to do, The Pickett Entertainment Network, yeah. But I'm only one person. I can only do one thing. But using ChatGPT just increases my productivity by 6 to 10-fold, like instantly. And so, hey, thanks, Stanchgate. Member for 39 months. Beyond the Supernatural just got a monster book. Yeah, Boscala and all those sort of things. Yeah, the book, which is originally from that book, not the. I was quite amazed when Wizards of the Coast used the book, and I was like, oh, it's a supernatural creature. They can't copyright it. Any existing supernatural mythology creature cannot be copyrighted by Wizards of the Coast. They can't. They cannot copyright the Banshee or anything like that. They can only copyright creatures which they've invented themselves. And since I'm going to be making a lot of homebrew, I own it all. So I'm sick and tired of doing reporting on other people's creativity. Please let me just do my own, Why not grow into a network? Well, we have seen that a little bit. Some other channels are doing that as well. Like, for instance, Shadowversity just put out a video where he's talking about his health and stuff as well, and the fact that it is absolutely exhausting for him and people with chronic pain and chronic exhaustion conditions, chronic pain in my case. It really, really is hard to put out any sort of a regular video content thing when you've got, you have to sit down in a chair for 3 hours at a time just to do the audio editing. I can't sit in a chair for 3 hours anymore. I can barely sit in a chair for 2 hours at a time without having to pause and go off and do other things and stuff like that. So even playing role-playing games online is really difficult. If it's a home game, I can get up and walk around the room and exercise and eat and lie down on the ground and do the stuff that I normally need to do just to remain functional. But I can't do that if I'm stuck in a chair for 8 hours with a headphone on, listening to my own voice and editing every little image and things like that. I'm sick and tired of the whole AI art debate. That's done and dusted. I'm making my own artwork. I'm not using other people's artwork anymore. Fuck them. I'm not engaged in that debate. It's a dead horse that's being beaten by people who are doing it for social clout now. They have no leg to stand on whatsoever. The legal debate is over, and it's here to stay. Same thing with ChatGPT and other AI systems. They are tools. People are going to use them. End of story. And like I said before, you either get on that bus or you get run over by it, because AI is a very powerful tool. It's like I don't use Photoshop and I'm crippled because of it. Like, can you imagine not having Photoshop or GIMP or anything like that? Just using Microsoft Paint, that's the only graphics editing thing you have. Otherwise, you have to use Canvas and Paint and inks and pencils and stuff, the things that I was trained in. I would certainly like to meet Shad and have a chat with him, but we are not friends. We have not talked. Critter, yeah, Critter as well. Right, Corey. Yeah, you understand chronic pain. You're physically disabled, and at some point, my right will break at the femoral head. Ooh, yeah. At some point, my aorta will split in half, and I'll have 10 hours to live. That's another thing that I've got to worry about. Plus, as those of you who have been paying attention, I've got a lot of personal stuff going on, really heavy stuff, which I dealt with sort of at the start of the year, and I'm on pretty good mental state. But yeah, it's been tough, and this whole thing with the Hasbro Wizard of the Coast thing has really pushed me in a direction which I should have been going a long time ago. But the main thing is I just don't want to alienate people and have them running away thinking that they're losing something. Really, all they're doing is gaining stuff. They just need to give me some leeway to train and get good. I'm switching martial art codes, but pretty soon I'm going to be a black belt at using ChatGPT and 11 Labs voice generator like you wouldn't believe. And that's something that I need to do to get ahead of everyone else, because it's the only way I'm going to be able to grow my channel at this point. Shad's a good dude, I can tell. The problem with AI is if people don't add fresh blood, the algorithm will run out. Yep, probably, but that's not really the way that it works. Like, it trains and it learns the specifics, but ChatGPT doesn't remember every single conversation. It just learns the principles of how it applied its programming to each conversation and then changes the programming. It doesn't remember the conversation. That's exactly the way that the diffusion artwork thing works as well. It doesn't remember every picture. It just remembers what it needed to do to reconstruct the picture according to the words that you type into it. So it doesn't record all of those. It's not examining the internet worth of pictures and then taking what you're looking for from those pictures. That's the misconception and the bullshit lie that has been posted by all the people who are going, or Luddite about AI technology. Those people, just stop listening to them. Either get them to get you some reference facts that they've researched themselves, or just point out what they're doing, which is misinformation and actually criminal negligence when it comes down to it. Because all they're doing is basically taking away the tools that I need to do my job ethically and morally and correctly. Like, these are medical tools as far as I'm concerned. Martial arts gives 4 attacks per melee. It would be too many. Yeah, those old school monsters, Matt, though all the old video content isn't going anywhere, and it's not really dating because nobody's going to update to a new system. Right, so those are going to be there for a long, long time. Exactly. I have no problem with preaching about this stuff. Thanks, Moonthirst. Can I ask if you receive a lot of proposals on your YouTube business inquiries email, and if so, what do you do with them? Do you consider them or not interested or even bother? I do receive an awful lot. I also receive about 1 or 2 every couple of days from Slovenia or somewhere like that, which is where a lot of the scammy promotion artists, like if you ever see an email address from Slovenia or anything like that, or if it's ever an agent for another company, don't go anywhere near them because they're just going to rip you off. And that's the thing. There's no monitoring or there's no oversight or control, and YouTube has never really taken responsibility for the 9 years that Susan was in charge about the sponsorship thing. And that was really the genesis of the adpocalypse in the first place, because advertisers were saying, well, we don't need actually to use the ad slot program that Google uses, because that costs us like $2,000 to put an ad on AJ's channel and Mr. X's channel and Jordan's channel and anybody else who puts a Google ad slot in there. But if we can ask for one proposed like 30-minute segment or 60-minute segment on their video for $1,800, well, that's much more effective, and we bypass all of the restrictions that Google puts on us. So they're quite willing to cripple a YouTuber, in fact, YouTube in general, for their imposed conditions, but they're not willing to do that themselves. So yeah, the advertisers can go get fucked too. I'm not really interested in catering to that. And I don't want to wade through all of those scammers and stuff as well. I'm not interested in Raid Shadow Legends or makeup artists or Japanese fashion trends or selling t-shirts or, hats or mugs or God knows what else. I don't want to waste the world's resources. I don't want to tie up vital supply chains and stuff like that, which should be supplying aid to people in hard-hit, environmentally damaged areas, etc., etc. I'm looking at the big picture here, right? So yeah, what I want to do is I want to sell content to people fairly and ethically and cheaply, and I just want authority over my own channel and not have to worry about the sword of Wizard of the Coast hanging over me at all times with that fan content policy, which is wretched. Dice, yep, could be. And don't forget, I've got Kickstarters coming up and things like Esper's got a Kickstarter coming up. Established titles. Yeah, established titles is another massive scam. No fake lordships here. Exactly. Chaotic good. Yeah, I'm firmly chaotic good. Hey, thanks, Matt. Welcome to Bronze Dragon. Yeah, so it's definitely a good time to be a member of the channel or a Patreon supporter. And please, if you are a Patreon supporter or if you're a Patreon supporter that is currently existing and you've got an open budget thingy on your Patreon, because the way that Patreon channels, because I'm a legacy Patreon person, I don't fit the same payment model that they have now. I don't actually know what that is. I'm guessing it's bad, because everything Patreon does to change itself is bad. What it means is that the minimum donation is $1 per video, but you must set your budget for the month to be only $1, right? So that means that each Patreon supporter just pays $1 per month. That is all you need to do to get access to everything that I do, right? I never ask for anything more than that. Anything that you give me over that is your choice. It doesn't entitle you to anything more, okay? I've got to make that very clear. But please, please set your budget very carefully. And if you haven't checked it, go and check it right now, because you're going to get hit with 6 or 7 or 10 or 20 videos that are going into Patreon. And yeah, if you're not careful with that, please don't get overcharged. I definitely do not want anybody getting charged suddenly a huge amount of money and then leave Patreon, because that's just terrible. People pour so much blood in AI, we should call it corn. Bree's just arrived. That was her little meow hello. She's gotten overheated from sleeping in the garage. I'm looking at your videos and hearing all this AI talk. How about we put the singularity in a Rift setting? That's a good idea. Well, we've already got Archie. Don't forget Archie. You get to betting it. Tolkien was right. Money makes people. Oh, Tolkien was right. Money makes people evil. They get dragon sickness. Yeah. Well, in my case, I need to pay rent and stuff, so my parents can afford medical bills, and we can repair flood damage and stuff like that. You know. Any extra money that I make will be donated to people in areas where they have literally nothing left. Their house and car and all their contents are gone. They have literally the clothes on their back right now. This is the situation for thousands of people in New Zealand right now. Detected. Zeely boy, how's it going? Hey, Potato. Your recent poll is wrong. We need more aliens, not less. Yeah, this is the thing. A lot of people are really enthusiastic. I appreciate that. I really do. But I'm looking at the existing player base who are very slavishly engaged with Dungeons and Dragons and just will not let me go anywhere else outside of it without basically trying to bully me into it by saying, I'm not going to sub. It's like, okay, leave. But leave me with some good feedback, please. Just don't leave, either leave quietly or leave me with really good, nasty comments about exactly what you don't like about those videos, and I will make them better. You can leave, that's fine. I support anybody voting with their wallet. That's the best tool that you have as a consumer to change the way that content producers do their stuff, is just don't pay us anymore. It's certainly, you'll get our attention. It worked with Hasbro, it'll work with me too. Thanks, Johnny. You give me $2 a month based on income percentage. That's excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, thanks, Kyle. Right, yes, YouTube does that as well. If you haven't watched a lot of my videos for a long time, you will be unsubbed by YouTube, and also they will stop recommending the videos to you even after you've been watching them avidly for a while, because the algorithm says after 2 or 3 months, people always stop watching content. Just because that's the majority, and algorithms always work on the average. So it pays you to resub every now and then to even channels that you're watching actively, because otherwise you'll lose the notifications and stuff. It's something that they need to work on. More aliens, but I know you've got to make dollars. Well, the aliens videos are the ones that are making me money. This is the thing. You may not realize this, but I can use those. I can put those behind a paywall, right? So they become exclusive to members and Patreon supporters, and people don't, with the D&D content, any monster that I put on Patreon or anything like that, I have to release as free content for everybody else eventually. With the alien videos and stuff, no. So you not only get exclusive access to those videos, which non-paying people will never get to see, unless they buy the book at the end of it, and the book will have links back to probably the videos on the thing anyway. So the people that buy the book will get the full content that the Patreon supporters and stuff will, but you'll have to buy the book. So you see how it works? D&D, I can't do that. I cannot do that. Thanks, Linksec. Welcome to Bronze Dragon. Got a donation site to help in New Zealand. Probably just look for the major ones like Red Cross and stuff like that, big international ones. Don't go with give a little pages and things like that. Make absolutely sure that you're giving them to official sources. But I'm not going to recommend anything like that because I just don't know. Yeah, I know it's really stupid sound contra. There's a reason why, because they're trying to clean up dead subs and stuff like that. Things that YouTube needs to work on. That's a long list, brother. Yeah, I know. And the new CAO, he's very much a NFT microtransaction sort of a guy. So he's responsible. He's one of the people responsible for getting rid of the dislike button, for instance. So I don't think we're going to be in for a very smooth tenure for that CEO. We'll see. We'll see. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now. Thanks, Corey. I appreciate that, Matt. Yeah, New Zealand can use some help at the moment. We're doing okay. We're getting some help from Australia and stuff, and we've got a lot, you know. But the thing is that this is going to hit us again next year and the next year and the next year, and it's going to get worse and worse. And we're looking at damage which is going to take years to repair at the moment as it is. So there's some areas which are never going to be rebuilt. There's some roads which are never going to be rebuilt. We have to look to completely alternate transport systems and things. Like at the moment, our Navy is basically taking care of all of our supply stuff. Oh yeah, and Turkey. That's the main reason why I haven't asked for any help for New Zealand, because Turkey needs all the help it can get right now. The humanitarian damage in Turkey is much greater than it is in New Zealand. Like, we've got our lives here in New Zealand. A lot of people have died, but nothing compared to Turkey. And yeah, exactly, Juju Bear. What is this crypto NFT bullshit that's everywhere? It's just so annoying. Blockchain stuff. People were talking about blockchain D&D stuff, like, oh yeah, your character sheet, you'll always know exactly when your character sheet was made, or you got an accurate record of when your content was produced because of the blockchain. I'm just like, there's other ways of doing that sort of stuff. Yeah, Ohio needs the government to be just rounded up and made to live in that town and have babies there and see what happens. I know. They're just scammers. That's the only reason why they get into NFT and microtransactions and stuff. It's just scamming corporate bullshit. Yeah, I'm straight up about, you know, my charges and things like that. Keep the cost low and the output high. That's the economic model for success. Don't waste resources. Make things that last a lifetime. Sell one thing, sell it to everybody, and make sure that it never breaks. Be the best at what you do. Don't make things to break. Don't waste resources. Be responsible, be ethical, and provide people within their means with the content and support that they want. That's all you need to do. There's enough people in the world to make anybody blitheringly rich if they just stick to that model, you know? Your campaign started when you opened your mouth. Only paper at your tables? Old school. There will, yeah, Lysander, that's an interesting point, because I do want to talk about rifts and that sort of stuff. And of course, I did that last 30 seconds as a tagline. Yeah, I don't want to get into the politics of it. All I can say is what's going on in Ohio is absolutely disgusting. Or Idaho. There's too many similar sounding. Ohio, Idaho, not Dakota. We've got Otago in New Zealand. Nebraska. What's wrong with Nebraska? Gets cold. Yeah. So there'll still be, it's Ohio, yeah. So there'll still be content where I'm talking to the camera and stuff, but that'll be mostly live streams and things like that where I'm in a good mood, and you know, it'll be around this time of the day or evening, in this case. And I'll be talking to you about the channel and stuff like that. But this is where I'm going to be talking about, like, this is where you ask me DMing questions and ask me about Rift's lore and stuff like that. And yeah, and if you have specific video requests and things like that, like particularly if you're a member or a Patreon supporter and you say, hey, can you make me an exclusive video about this? I probably can these days, you know. Just don't tell Palladium. Yes, I remember Square Enix. I remember when Microsoft was a good company. And Squaresoft, yeah. The other thing too is maybe it would help if I made a website that was separate so I could actually categorize and organize all these videos, so you'll have a one-stop shop where you can basically get all of my content and it'll be indexed and stuff like that. But I need capital to do that. And I also need to employ people to do that. I can't do that myself. There's the one-man operation. The weather is bipolar in Nebraska. Yeah, so are the weather balloons. Microsoft was a good company once. Yeah, believe it or not. That is a good suggestion. Idea, pretty good. How to play various non-standard races and classes, such as a young dragon or a dog pack and rifts or any other system. Yeah, maybe a website. Hey, Ian. Yes, a website with it's on video player in case YouTube goes down. Yeah. Also, I'm looking at like podcasty type thing, because the Aliens Guide is a really good podcast candidate, because that's the right sort of format for podcasting, essentially. So yes, it's not the same as my usual content, but it opens up podcasting and all that sort of benefits. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that you're asking me for race stuff and things like that, but that's not content that I've ever traditionally been very good at. Like, yes, I make good videos for that, but those ones are the most painful for me to make. Like if you're looking at, the Demogorgon video, for instance, which is like an hour long, like forget about it. I'm not going to be doing any of that. I'll be broken up into segments and things like that. But people just aren't watching hour-long videos. They're watching hour-long interviews and things like that. But just me rambling on about Demogorgon and reading from Dragon magazines and stuff like that is both not profitable, because I can't earn money from that other than just view time and Google ad slots, which they've really they've really turned off the tap with that, because just the supply chain and the economic situation in the world right now means that, well, basically any sort of economic disruption, a corporation will go, oh, well, we have to turn down the payments and stuff because advertisers aren't paying as much. And we're like, yeah, show us the receipts. And they're like, huh? What was that? Yeah, exactly. What is your favorite race class to play? A dwarven cleric. Something like that. Very basic. Been through a few hurricanes. This was a hurricane on the back of a monsoon. So we've had, in some areas, 40% of the annual rainfall in 2 months. It's not even at the end of February yet. So the actual hills have destabilized. Like mountains and stuff are falling down. So there's massive landslides and things like that. Whole road systems, like state highways, are gone. Like we can't rebuild there because there's just a gaping chasm, Yeah, I know you like the race class type videos and stuff, but yeah, I don't really like making them. Why? Look at what happened with the orcs and the drow. You think I want to touch that with a 10-foot barge pole? Nah. Somebody casting 10th level spells? Yeah, probably. You made money off us? It's true. That's can you see Bree up in? You probably can't. Hang on, I've got to move my camera around. There's a bit of a delay. She's up on top of the tower there. This is sleep time for her. It's like evening. Yeah, a lot of people won't be aware of the flood in New Zealand. The flood, the diluvian. Pan said meow meow. Like the amount of like people just hauling trailer loads of dead livestock and stuff, and people have lost all of their pets and livestock, and their there's cars which are buried under 8 foot of silt. There's houses which are buried under like over your head in just silt from the floodwaters. It's crazy. D&D characters are stereotypical Texans. I don't know. I've never met a stereotypical Texan. Stats meaningless, like some random measurement each time. It'd be a good nod to hitchhikers too. Yeah. I don't need to talk about stats. I mean, the verbal description of things is better anyway, because most people don't really understand statistics anyway. Like, they don't really understand how the wisdom stat works. Wisdom is observation. It's not mental. It's your senses. Dexterity is your nerve conductivity speed, which allows you with multiple nerve impulses per second to make very smooth gestures. People with low nerve conductivity go like this because their hands shake because they're getting signal. People who have very fast signals become stable and graceful. That's the way your nervous system works. That's the way that dexterity works. It's your nerve conductivity speed. I mean, yeah, yeah. What we need right now is not livestock being killed off by this sort of stuff. Yeah. The world is bad. It's some sort of a dystopian nightmare. We all know this. The pace is that of 3 hedgehogs. It's true. It is funny. Weighs roughly, or like describing Smurfs as high as 3 apples or something like that. That's great. End stage capitalism. Yeah, well. I would love to do what Ford Prefect does, absolutely. And that's essentially what I'm doing mentally. I'm putting myself in the situation where I'm going out and investigating the multiverse. And, you know, as I get better and better at those videos, you will get more and more of me coming through in them and more little personal sort of anecdotes and stuff like that. And you'll get used to the AI voice. It'll get better and better and sound more and more like me. But I quite like it the way that it is. I feel like Max Headroom. It's my dystopian hellhole, and I get to choose how I cope. Yeah, exactly. Don't forget your towel. 3 apples high. Good. Did you know a group of gnomes is called a Donsi? Donsi of gnomes. There might be grabbing of some Slurg Cola. Get your Slurg Cola from any spaceport bar. Remember to hit those vending machine buttons really big, really heavy, because they're made for 10-foot tall aliens. That's right. If you like AJ's Guide to Extraterrestrials, you are a hoopy fruit. I know, but my voice is, you know, it's still here. You're listening to my voice right now. And every now and then I'll stop in and do voice stuff. But I'd like to get other people to do voice stuff on my channel too. Why not? As I said, I'm a writer. Yep. It is getting late for you guys, and I've got a video to upload for you to critique. Give me some good feedback. Give me your best shot. I am me, that's true. But also my writing is me too. Even if it's coming through, if it's being filtered through a robot, it's still me. So thank you very much for all the live chats and stuff. I wasn't expecting it on this one. And thanks for listening to me rant and rave and talk about the situation and stuff, just, you know, because I needed to let you know exactly what's going on and what my thought processes is. And really what I'm getting at with these polls and stuff is narrowing down what my existing viewers are looking for. But keep in mind that those alien videos are going to bring in a lot of people who have very different opinions than yours. So it's not going to be the same sort of, it's going to be a lot of disruption to the community as the two streams sort of mix for a while. And yeah, I'll be like, everybody remain calm. There's enough for everyone to go around. You know, there's more content coming from AJ. That's good for everybody. Even if the quality is different at the moment, it will get better. Yeah, but I got to look after my health. Seriously. Like if I hadn't lost 30 kg last year, I'd be dead now. Guarantee. And yeah, I'm the sort of person who is highly motivated and has an iron will. So when I set my mind to do something, I do it. And yeah, the more opposition I get just fuels me. So yeah, you can swear and you can bitch and complain at me all you like, but unless it's constructive feedback, all you're doing is just fueling the fire that drives me to make video content forever. So as you keep listening, if the channel reduces to 2,000 people, I'll still be making video content for you at exactly the same pace. All right. Catch you later, everybody. Thanks for joining me. And I'll catch you again soon.